Okay, here is doing the tail section, which is the upright part's called a a vertical stabilizer. So let's see, I've got one of these kicking around here. Okay. That's just half. Okay. Um, Here's what I would do with this. Let me see if everything's visible here at all. Okay. I don't know why the bounding box is doing that. There must be a wing hidden in there or something. Yep, there is. Okay. I'm going to move my copy and flip it. Stick it back together. Okay. What I would do is I'd hit R for rectangles. I would click in a rectangle and find which way. There's green, there's blue, there's red. So I'm going to go green like this. Just it's like putting a piece of drawing paper on here. I came right off the middle. I'm going to move it down a little bit like this. I could even hit S for scaling. I could grab this. I could stretch it this way. If you hold down Alt or Option, you could stretch both ends, but I don't really need that. So that's just like a drawing surface, but it's at the halfway point. Okay. One thing I could do right away is if I right click on this and say intersect faces with model, what that should do, if it's cooperating, and I hide this, it actually burns the shape of the body of the aircraft. Is called the fuselage. It burns the shape of the fuselage in. So I've got that line in there, and then I can draw whatever shape I want for the tail section here. I'm going to do this fast. Whatever you want to do with this. Whatever. Okay, so what that should give me is that piece, right? If I hide this again, because I did the intersection, I've got that. There's the piece I want. So I'll do copy kill, copy it. Right click and copy it. And then we could kill it and paste that piece back in. Gives me that. Okay, and hide everything and get this. So basically this is another one of those things where you're only doing half. And so small increments tend to work. I'm going to do a push-pull on this. Pull it out a little bit. That's only an inch. And then I'm going to do P-Alt to pull a copy of that plane. And you can see that separate plane. And we'll just do that as an inch. And then I'm going to double-click that surface and hit S for scaling. I don't want the bottom to change, so I'm probably going to grab this top middle handle first and just bend that top down. You can see it's bending that down like that to create that rollover effect. Then I could try doing this. I could bring this side in. I could hold down Alt to do both, but see, that's doing something weird. So I think the best thing to do is pull this side in a little bit, and then come over and pull this side in a little bit. It's looking okay. It is going to change how it's hitting the bottom, but we may have to slice off some of this, but we can do that later. And again, the more you want to round it over, the more small increments you would do. I'm going to do this again. Now I only have to do a regular push-pull because that's going to pull out. Double-click this. S for scaling. Probably grab this middle handle. Squish it way down so it's actually creating the effect of a curve. And then I'll probably scale this corner in. And maybe this. Sorry, that wasn't a corner. It was a side. And that, so that's rounding this over that way. Again, you could do that a bunch of times, but play around with it. When I do this, though, you probably want to check both sides as you do it and see how it's affecting the shape. Anyway, at some point, I'll make this a group. And then I'll cut it out, get into the component, and paste it in. And that just came in on both sides. It's got a lot of lines in it, but one tricky thing I could do, maybe, as you can see, the way this is expanded, it's probably actually kind of punching into this in a weird way. I'm going to try this. I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to move it down slightly. And that's happening in both components. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check this group, go to Solid Inspector over on the right. It says internal faces. Okay, fix errors. That's because when I did P-Alt, it was creating like a membrane inside of it. So I can say fix errors. Now it's happy. Then I'm going to check this. There's the body, which I'm going to have to make it a group. So you get this group versus this group. Okay, here's the weird part of this. I'm going to try to use this to chop away at that. But when I do, this body is going to disappear. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to copy it. Okay, so I copied the body. Well, that's Solid Inspector doing crazy stuff. So copy, get inside this component. Come on. And copy that body. Okay, now let's see if this works. I'm going to select nothing. I'm still inside the component. I'm going to go to subtract. Third one, say, can I subtract this from that? And that just chopped it away perfectly. And now I'll paste, I hope, paste that body back in again. And that should make this fit perfectly. Because the shape of the body chops away at this vertical stabilizer. You always have to remember to copy it first. I might get in on this thing, go down to soften and smooth edges here. Usually you don't want to go all the way up, somewhere around 35 something. And now I've got that. Horizontal stabilizers, I might get in the component, take this wing, maybe move a copy back. Hit S for scaling, probably grab this top right corner handle, shrink these guys down. Can play around with the scaling a little bit. Sometimes when you get to here, you want to move this one axis at a time, so I'm going to move it probably back. Let's see, I'll move it up first. It's happening in both components. Move it on red, orbit around so I can see where it is. Move it on green. There it is. Do some adjustments on this. Move it down a little bit. Scale it. It's the center middle handle. See what it's looking like. Go back to our normal view, which is this. Not too bad for high speed. Vertical stabilizer, horizontal stabilizers, wings. And really, again, it's having things be groups that are in the component and that are duplicated on the other side in the twin component.